To discuss with the external features of the heart. The heart is a conical hollow muscular organ situated in the middle mediastinum. The heart it is enclosed within pericardium. The main function of the heart is it pumps blood the various parts of the body to meet their nutritive requirements. The heart is placed obliquely behind the body of the sternum and the adjoining parts of the costal cartilage, so that the one-third of it lies to the right and two-thirds to the left of the median plane. The heart measures about 12 into 9 centimeters and weight about 300 gram in male, whereas 250 gram in females. It has four chambers: right and left atria and right and left ventricles. The learning objectives for today's topic are the external features of the heart, describe the location, covering, borders and surfaces of the heart, discuss the external features of the heart, briefly discuss the chambers and valves of the heart, discuss the different circulatory circuits and their working. The heart is located directly on the top of the diaphragm behind the sternum. It is positioned in the middle mediastinum between the left and right lungs. The structure of the heart. The heart is a myocardial muscular pump consisting of four chambers. It has got two auricles, four valves, and a muscular septum. They all are enclosed within a fluid-filled sac termed as the pericardium. So the pericardium is the outermost covering of the heart, means heart is enclosed in that covering. You see, this is the right atrium, this is the right ventricle, left ventricle, and this is the left atrium. You see here, this is the inferior vena cava, superior vena cava, the pulmonary artery. These are the pulmonary veins, right and left. This is the aorta, this is the arch of aorta. The borders of the heart. The right border consists entirely of the right atrium. This is the right atrium. So this right atrium almost throughout it forms the right border of the heart, whereas the inferior border is made up mostly of the right ventricle. You see here, this is the right ventricle. So mostly the inferior border is formed with the right ventricle with a small portion of the left ventricle. Here is the left ventricle. So almost this much portion is formed with the right ventricle, and there is a contribution of the left ventricle or as well in the formation of the inferior border. Left border is mostly by the left ventricle. So this is the left ventricle and this is the left border. The auricle of the left atrium forming the uppermost part. You might be knowing about the aura or the auricle. The anterior or the sternocostal surface, inferior and diaphragmatic surface, posterior surface. These are the surfaces of the heart. The anterior or the sternocostal surface consists of the right atrium. You can see here. This is the right atrium. Vertical atrioventricular groove. The atrioventricular groove. Right ventricle with a narrow strip of the left ventricle. So right ventricle with the narrow strip of the left ventricle. The inferior or the diaphragmatic surface consists of right atrium receiving inferior vena cava. This is the inferior border. You can see here, this is the inferior vena cava. Anteroposterior atrioventricular groove. The posterior surface or the base, this is the posterior surface. It consists of the left atrium. This is the left atrium, you can see here. This is the left atrium receiving the 4 pulmonary veins. These are the pulmonary veins. The position of the heart varies a little between the systole and the diastole. The roots of the great vessels fix it, but the ventricles are free to move within the pericardium. So the ventricles, they can move, but the vessels, they are fixed. In full inspiration, the apex of the heart descends more than the relatively fixed base, and heart occupies somewhat more vertical position. This is the area where one can hear the apex of the heart. In full expiration, ascent of the diaphragm forces the heart into the more horizontal position. So when we take full expiration, the diaphragm forces the heart into more horizontal position rather than the vertical one. The coverings of the heart. Pericardium is a double-walled sac that contains the heart and the root of the great vessels. You can see here, this is the outermost covering, that is the pericardium. Superficial fibrous pericardium, a deep 2-layer serous pericardium. So the outermost, that is the superficial pericardium, then is the deep 2-layer serous pericardium. It is again divided into parietal and visceral layers. You see here the visceral layer, and this is the parietal layer. The parietal layer lines the internal surface of the fibrous pericardium, whereas the visceral layer of the epicardium lines the surface of the heart. So the visceral, as the name indicates, viscera means it covers, it is attached to the heart, whereas its outer layer is termed is the parietal pericardium that lines the fibrous pericardium. Here in this diagram you can see this is the fibrous pericardium, this is the serous pericardium, and this is the parietal pericardium. Here you can see this is the parietal, this is the visceral layer. These are the two layers, clearly distinguishable. The covering of the heart, the pericardium, it protects and anchors the heart, prevents overfilling of the heart with blood, allows for heart to work in a relatively friction-free environment. Again, you can see here, this is the fibrous pericardium, this is the parietal layer of the serous pericardium, whereas this is the visceral layer of the serous pericardium. This is the myocardium, this is the endocardium, this is the heart chamber. The heart wall, it has been divided is the epicardium, myocardium, and endocardium. The epicardium is the visceral layer of the serous pericardium. You can see here. The epicardium, it is the outermost layer. Then is the myocardium, the cardiac muscle layer forming the bulk of the heart. This is forming the bulk of the heart. Then is the endocardium, the endothelial layer of the inner myocardial surface. The fibrous skeleton of the heart, crisscrossing, interlacing layer of the connective tissue. The heart, histologically, it has got the intercalated discs. The major vessels of the heart, anteriorly, the vessels returning blood to the heart, they include the superior and inferior vena cava, right and left pulmonary veins. The superior and inferior vena cava, right and left pulmonary veins. The left pulmonary veins, these are the right pulmonary veins. The vessels conveying blood away from the heart, they include the pulmonary trunk, which splits into right and left pulmonary arteries, the ascending aorta, brachiocephalic, left common carotid, and subclavian arteries. You can see here, this is the aorta, the brachiocephalic artery, left common carotid, the left subclavian artery, the left pulmonary artery, the right pulmonary artery. Vessels that supply or drain the heart, the arteries, they supply the heart, and veins, they drain the blood. The arteries, these are the right and left coronary, right coronary artery, left coronary artery. In atrioventricular groove, this is the atrioventricular groove there, and over here the marginal artery, circumflex and anterior interventricular arteries. Veins are the small cardiac, anterior cardiac, and great cardiac veins. Great cardiac veins and the small cardiac anterior veins, they drain the venous blood of the heart. The major vessels of the heart on the posterior aspect or the posterior view. The vessels returning blood to the heart, they include the right and left pulmonary veins. These are the right pulmonary veins. These are the left pulmonary veins. Superior and inferior vena cava. You can see this is the superior vena cava. This is the inferior vena cava. Vessels covering blood away from the heart, including the aorta, right and left pulmonary arteries. So this is the aorta, left and right pulmonary arteries. So these are the vessels conveying blood away from the heart. The vessels that supply or drain the heart on the posterior arteries, right coronary artery in atrioventricular groove, and the posterior interventricular artery in the interventricular groove. Veins, great cardiac posterior vein to the left ventricle, coronary sinus, and middle cardiac vein, they drain. The atria of the heart, they are the receiving chambers of the heart. Each atria has a protruding auricle. You can see here. This is the auricle. The pectinate muscle mark the atrial walls. Here you can see these are the pectinate muscles. They mark the atrial wall. The blood enters right atria from the superior and inferior vena cava and coronary sinus. Superior vena cava, inferior vena cava, and the coronary sinus. The blood enters the left atria from the pulmonary veins. It enters left atria from the pulmonary veins. Here lies the left atrium, and these are the left pulmonary veins. These are the right pulmonary veins. The ventricles of the heart. Ventricles are the discharging chambers of the heart. The papillary muscles and trabecular cornea muscle, they mark the ventricular wall. You can see here, these are the papillary muscles. These are the trabecular cornea. So they mark the ventricle walls. Right ventricle pumps blood into the pulmonary trunk. Right ventricle, this is the right ventricle. So blood is pushed from here to the pulmonary trunk. Where is the left ventricle? pumps into the aorta. This is the left ventricle. It pumps the blood into the aorta. This is the aorta. This is the left ventricle. It pushes or pumps blood into the aorta. The pathway of the blood through the heart and lungs, as we all are aware that the body requires the oxygenated blood, whereas the deoxygenated blood is sent to the heart, from heart to the lungs, and from lungs to the heart, from heart to the body, and again from body to the heart. So the right atrium, here you can see this is the right atrium. This right atrium passes blood to the right ventricle through the tricuspid valve. Right ventricle, you can see here, this is the right ventricle. Pulmonary seminary wall is there. The pulmonary arteries, then towards the lungs. So you can see here, these are the pulmonary arteries. They are carrying the deoxygenated blood towards the lungs, and from the lungs, the pulmonary veins, they carry the oxygenated blood towards the left atrium. From left atrium, there is a bicuspid valve to the left ventricle, and from left ventricle through the aortic seminal wall towards the aorta. And here, from here, it comes into the systemic circulation. The coronary circulation is the functional blood supply to the heart muscle itself. The collateral routes ensure blood delivery to the heart even if major vessels are occluded. So these are the arteries. They are supplying the heart. The right coronary artery, the left coronary artery, the circumflex artery, right? This is the anastomosis junction of the vessels. You can see the posterior interventricular artery. This is the anterior interventricular artery. The venous supply or the venous drainage is through the anterior cardiac veins, small cardiac veins. This is the, here's the coronary sinus. This is the great cardiac vein, and this is the medial cardiac vein. So they drain the blood from the heart. The heart valves, they ensure the unidirectional blood flow through the heart so that the heart blood should not come back. Atrioventricular valves lie between the atria and the ventricles. The atrioventricular valves, this is the atrioventricular valve. This is the bicuspid valve, the right atrioventricular valve. This is the tricuspid valve. The intraventricular valves prevent the backflow into the atria when ventricles they contract. The chorditendini anchor the AV valve to papillary muscles. Here you can see, when the flow is there, the valves open to give way to the blood to pass onward, but when there is a pressure, they do not allow the blood to go back, so to prevent the backflow of the blood. The aortic semilunar veil lies between the left ventricle and the aorta, the semilunar veil. The pulmonary semilunar veil lies between the right ventricle and the pulmonary trunk. The semilunar waves, they prevent vague flow of blood into the ventricles. The self-assessment, you can just label all these structures you have been shown in previous slides. You can mark this, which structure is this one and which structure is this one. References are the Clinical Oriented Anatomy by Keith L. Moore, Laws Anatomy, Human Anatomy by B.D. Chaurasia, Internet using different sites.